Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be reviewing the Insta360 Go 3. Let's go! So yes, I've been using the Insta360 Go 3 for the past couple of weeks. This is the third generation of Insta360's tiny multi-use action camera. Lightweight, portable, can attach to pretty much anything, is super small, super light, so can go places that most other cameras can't. So I want to be completely open and honest that Insta360 did send me this camera before it was released. I had been using it for about a week and a half before the date of release, and I've been using it with what should be the latest firmware. I'm going to take you through everything that this camera can do, how we can get creative with it, all of the specs and the upgrades, but let's just talk about probably the biggest difference between this and the previous version. Well, it's this. The action pod essentially is where the Go 3 can go to recharge, but also, which is probably the biggest upgrade, it has a screen. Unlike the previous version of this camera, the Go 3 can connect to this action pod and we can preview our footage. But let me take you through the key features of this new camera. The Go 3 can shoot 2.7K video at 30 frames per second. It can also shoot 1440p video at 50 frames per second. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna be disappointed that this camera cannot shoot 4K resolution video. I mean, it's 2023 and I kind of get it. I was expecting a bigger boost than this, and the video quality is still not great. Like, you never get quality that is actually impressive in any way. It's only because this is probably, well, mostly designed, like I said, for mobile devices that I can kind of get away with it. But I can completely understand, particularly for the price of this camera, how kind of not much of an upgrade that a video quality is, and to be honest, even in the best lighting conditions, it still just looks a little bit rough. It's only when you color correct it that it has any chance of looking decent. It features Insta360's flow state stabilization with horizon lock, so you can spin and twist the camera all the way around as much as you want and the horizon will still be perfectly level. The camera has a built-in magnetic mount and also comes with 3 mounts in the box. One of these you wear under your shirt and it magnetically attaches, so it just seems like the camera is attached to your t-shirt, jumper, shirt, and you can walk and run around with this attached to you and you won't have to worry about it falling off. There's also a mount for the action pod if you want to use the camera inside that, which has a sticky base and you can stick it to pretty much anything and reuse it many times. And finally, a clip mount which can clip onto a cap, or to your shirt, or to anything that you can find that will fit around this mount. The Go 3 is waterproof up to 5 meters, so you should be able to go swimming in a swimming pool or somewhere shallow, and you can get some really awesome underwater shots. It also features voice control, AI-powered editing, and an improved battery life compared to the previous version, which was kind of an issue for the Go 2. It kind of ran out of battery really quickly, but the Go 3 lasts significantly longer. So those are the headline specs, but definitely the biggest hardware upgrade is this multifunctional action mount with the screen, allowing us to preview our footage. We can also change all of the settings on the camera, can do pretty much anything, and we don't have to connect it to Wi-Fi or anything like that, which we did with the previous version. Even when the camera is detached from the action pod, it's still able to connect. As you can see, it's still previewing, so we can attach the Go 3 to anything, move up to around 5 meters away, and you'll still be able to preview your footage from this. So as with all the previous versions of this kind of camera, the gimmick or the selling point is how small, light, and mountable the Go 3 is. And that's still the case for the Go 3. Granted, it is a little bit bigger and a little bit thicker than the Go 2, so unfortunately if you have that camera, the mounts for that camera will not be compatible with the Go 3, but the difference is only very small. It's still, as you can see, able to fit in my relatively small hands. It's about the size of my little finger, so it's still super small. It's still going to pretty much fit anywhere that you want to put it. It allows for really creative shots that are just not possible with any other kind of camera. You can put it places that no other camera is going to be able to fit. The fact that it has a built-in magnetic mount, you can stick it to any metal object and it's going to stay there. It's not going to fall off. It's pretty safe to put on your car, on a scooter, on a bike, on your fridge, on a knife. I mean, I've put it pretty much anywhere that it can go, but we have to accept that the video quality is not going to be as good. The first version had pretty poor video quality and I didn't really see the point, but Insta360 has worked on upgrading the video and now it sits at 2.7, which for a camera of this size I don't think is too bad. The fact of the matter is that most of the shots people are going to be creating with this camera are going to be for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, so it's going to be viewed 90% of the time on a mobile device. So 2.7K, even though we're used to 4K, 6K even, it's not going to be anywhere near as sharp as that. It's not going to be anywhere near as clear, but it's good enough for social media. It's good enough for looking at on a phone screen. Of course, the lens is not the most advanced. The video quality is not the best of any camera that we've seen, but for a camera of this size, I think it does a decent job. By the way, my next video will be a comparison between the Go 3 and the Go 2. I've done some side-by-side shots. We'll do a lot of that. We'll take a look at really whether it's worth upgrading and what all of the differences are. So that is the next video coming up on this channel in a few days. So taking a look at the shooting options in the camera, and we can do that now thanks to the Action Pod screen, which works really, really well. It's an extremely responsive touch screen, just as good as your phone. We actually have quite a lot of shooting options. We have the standard video option, but we also have free frame video, which is the pro version. Now, this is the version to use if you want to get the best quality, and also if you want to adjust the aspect ratio and choose the horizon lock options. However, it does mean you have to take that video and put it into your laptop or PC and process it with the Insta360 Studio. So it's an extra step to get your footage, but it offers the best quality and the most options. The standard video mode applies stabilization, but it's not quite as advanced, but it is ready to go straight away. So if you just wanted your video ready to go, ready to upload, then you would use that option. We also have a time-lapse mode, time shift, slow motion, loop recording, star lapse, interval, and some photo modes as well. You can shoot slow motion video at 1080p at 120 frames per second. So really the main advantage of the Go 3 is to get creative. You need to kind of think about, where can I put this camera, where can I attach it, where can I mount it, and what's going to be unique, what's going to go viral, what's going to get people's attention. And that's what I like about the Go range of cameras. It does make you think outside the box. You're not just going to put this on a tripod and let it film. You could do that with your phone. Think about what you can't do with your phone. You can't stick your phone to a knife. You can't stick your phone to your car, to your motorbike. You can't put your phone inside a bag of crisps and film yourself eating. You can't stick your phone to a light fixture and film your whole room. There's so many things you can do. I actually used to have a YouTube channel where I filmed myself baking and making food. I kind of had a bit of a cooking phase for a while. And just attaching the Go 3 to the hood of the extractor fan that I had, it gave a perfect view of the kitchen. It gave a new perspective. So it can really give a new perspective on things, a new way of filming things that you haven't thought of before. So let's take a closer look at the mounts that you get with the camera, because not only do you get the camera, you get the pod mount, action pod, whatever it's called, but you also get these 3 mounts here. So first we have this pendant. So this will go around your neck, under here. There we go. Attach the camera and it is not gonna fall off no matter how much I shake it around. This is a perfect camera for hands-free point of view shots where you can film yourself doing anything really, hiking, running, gardening, whatever your hobby is. This is going to be the perfect camera to do that. Next up we have this clip mount. clips onto a hat. I mean, I've not got it straight on. There we go. So also that's not going to fall off. These are all magnetic, all really easily detachable and attachable. Can spin it around. Finally, this sticky mount with the magnetic mount here. So the camera attaches to that. And there is a sticky kind of mount here, which sticks onto pretty much anything, and you can reuse it as long as you clean it with water. You can also use this to mount the entire action pod, as we can see. So this can be mounted as well. So all of these accessories come in the box. You don't need to buy them separately, and I'm sure there's going to be more accessories available as there were for the previous versions. Now, the main issue with the previous version was the battery life. It really ran down very quickly, which is not surprising because the camera is so small. But the previous version also had a kind of mounting action pod. It didn't have a screen, but it allowed you to charge up the camera while it was inside that mounting pod. The same feature applies to this version. So the Go 3 itself has up to 45 minutes just on its own outside of the action pod, which is 50% more than the previous version. But when you fully charge this mounting the action pod and you place the camera back inside, then the battery life goes up to around 140 minutes, which is significant and should last you all day if you wanted to shoot with this camera all day. So like with all the other Insta360 cameras, a big part of the process or the system is the app, is editing on the Insta360 app. There are a lot of features inside that app that try and allow you to get awesome footage easily, quickly, with automatic AI editors or automatic functions and these special effects. And the same goes for the Go 3. I will say that the editing process I don't think is as comprehensive or as smooth as it is for the 360 cameras. I think it is a little bit more limited just because there's less video to play with. I think it's more of a standard. You don't really need to use some of those things in the editing app. You could just use a standard editing program, or you could just take the footage straight from your camera and put it onto Instagram straight away, because you don't need to do that reframing or anything like that. It's definitely a welcome addition. The app is still free. It's still, it's a very comprehensive app for being free, but I would say it's not as integral. No, is that a word? Integral? Not as important as the app is for the other Insta360 cameras. And another important upgrade for the Go 3 is that there's no longer any limitations on the video length. The previous versions of this camera all had limitations for how long a single clip could be, and that was due to how much the camera would heat up. So it would stop recording before it overheated. Now, Insta360 say they have improved the heat dissipation technology on this camera so that there is no longer any limitations on how long a single clip can be, apart from obviously how much memory you have left inside the camera. So having used the Go 3 for the past few weeks, I do think it's a really awesome creative tool. It's not going to be for everyone. It's not going to be for people who just want to set it and forget it. You need to be creative. You need to want to post things that other people may not think of. Yeah, I mean, I can see a lot of uses for this camera. If you have the previous version, then the most significant upgrade is definitely the action pod with the screen. It just makes the camera so much easier to use, so much easier to control. It's great that you can put it on an object and still preview what you're seeing, so you don't have to guess whether the shot you're getting is actually the shot you want to get. But if you're new to this kind of camera, if you're new to these tiny little action cameras, then I do really recommend trying it out. If you've seen the footage that I've shown you, and I'm sure you'll see some other reviews, it's really not that difficult to get these kinds of shots. You literally just need to find something to attach it to, try and think outside the box, try and think about movement, try and think about where you can put it, where it's going to create a shot that no other camera can get. what can you do that's going to be creative? That's what you can get out of this camera. I should probably mention how much it costs. So just looking at the price list here, it comes in 32, 64 and 128GB versions. From the cheapest to the most expensive, it's $379, $399 and $429. I mean, I do have to say that I think that the price is pretty expensive. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. This is an expensive camera, especially for something that can't shoot 4K resolution video, which we have come to expect. Yeah, I just think it's a pretty expensive device for what it can do. I guess what you're paying for is that tiny design, which for some people is going to be enough, but when comparing it with other cameras, it does rank pretty highly, even compared to some GoPros. So yeah, I just think it's a pretty expensive camera. So let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think of the footage that I've shown you and whether you think the Go 3 is worth buying, what you think you would use it for. I'm going to be showing you some examples of creative shots you can get and also comparing it with the previous version. So stay tuned for those videos. They will be coming up very soon. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.